Guys, welcome back to Brit's Book Corner. Today's video is going to be all about my favorite books written by other authors on the app called Wattpad. So I'm going to leave a link in the description to Wattpad, and then you're going to be able to create an account, go on there and look up any of these titles because they will be written in the description below. The books I want to talk to you about are by an author called DamnNyla, and I love these books. I'm not going to name character names just because there's way too many for me to keep straight while I'm talking about all these books at once. But there are 4 books in the series, and the series is called the Quiet series. And the Quiet is in all of these titles. Book number 1 is called The Quiet Brother. And it's about this overbearing, dominating guy who, falls in love with his sister's best friend, who's forced to come home with her because of a bad breakup. He stakes a claim on her. A lot of daddy kink, a lot of spanking. So if you're not into reading major sex books, don't read this book. If you're not into, reading about daddy kinks and women calling guys daddy, don't read it. But it's about their struggle as a couple to deal with the fact that his older brother is obsessed with, or one of his brothers is obsessed with the main female character, and there's a revengeful ex and just so much going on, and there's a lot. This book is really good, but it is not a standalone. Book number 2 is called Don't Be Quiet. It is about the daughter of the couple from the first book and her struggles on dealing with a rape. It has a main male character who is dealing with the struggles of, falling for the girl, as well as dealing with a mother who wants revenge on the man from the first book. And he is supposed to use the girl to get that revenge. Lots of things happen. There's a sister involved. There's just a lot going on. Book number 3 is called She's Not Quiet. And it is about the little girl, the sister of the main male character in the second book. This book is about her dealing with acceptance because she was adopted. And again, more daddy kink. But it's all about her trying to be accepted, as well as her trying not to fall in love with her best friend, who's also her roommate, who's also her boss at a tattoo shop, who is a major player. Lots and lots of angst, lots and lots of sex. So again, if you don't like sex, daddy kink, all that stuff, don't read it. The book of the series is called Quietly Mine, and it is about the son of the main characters of book number 2, and his struggle by being gay. And this book takes place in high school, where the other books didn't. All these other characters were older and had jobs and probably were out of college. But this book takes place in high school, and it takes place about this guy who falls in love with a new kid, but this guy is also getting bullied for being gay. So it deals with bullying, being gay, he becomes possessive. It just deals with a lot, but it's a really good book. So I really think you should read it. And again, none of these books in this series should be read as a standalone. You have to read them all from book 1 to book 4 in order to understand any of what just happened in these books. Next author I want to talk about, her name is Celeste A Brook, and I absolutely love her books. She has 1 series and 1 standalone book that I've read before. And the standalone book is called Just Say I Do. It's about a female character who is dealing with a sick father who wants to get him this really special treatment, but she can't afford it. And the main male character who is dealing with a father who thinks that he's not willing to commit. They basically come up with a marriage of convenience. He marries her to make it look like he can commit. She marries him so he can pay for her father's treatment. And in the end, they end up falling in love with each other. This book is amazing. I really like reading it. I've read it multiple times. I can't even begin to tell you how good this book is. The series is called The New Beginnings, and there are 2 books in this series, at least that I know of. The first book is called More Than Friends. It's about a female character who's moving in to this apartment that she planned on moving in with her boyfriend. of, I think, multiple years. I can't remember. But she planned on moving in with him. He broke things off. She took a job as a teacher, so she moves. The book starts out with a fender bender, and she gets really angry at this really hot guy, and come to find out he's her neighbor, but he's also a single dad, and just a lot goes on, lots of sex, lots of drama, and in the end it's happily ever after, and I love books with happily ever afters. Number 2 is called Sweet Spot. It's about a female character who runs a sweet shop, and she ends up puking all over this guy's shoes on the day he meets her, and he comes in for something. I can't really remember all the details, but he comes in, she pukes on him, she agrees to make him something, she cooks for him, they agree to be friends, you know, they text, they flirt, she, you know, has a crush on him, he has a crush on her, but they think that they just need to be friends. It's all about the romantic exploration and all of this, and you know, they talk about dating, and he travels as a travel vet, and she ends up working at, you know, she just ends up doing a bunch of different stuff. So this book is really good as well. It really ties into more than friends, but I feel like this book could be also a standalone. Next author and book I want to talk to you about are, it's called KatieElstner. I'm sorry if I butchered that and you're watching this. But the book is called The Player Broke My Leg. Now, one thing about this is that the title caught my eye. It caught my eye, something fierce. It just really drew me in, because I wanted to be like, well, how did he break her leg? You know? Well, he ended up breaking her leg. They met, the two main characters met when they were younger, and he moved into the house next door. And he started pulling pranks on her, basically making her life a living hell. Time jumps forward, and they're in high school, and he continues to make pranks on her, pull pranks on her, all of this stuff. He ends up breaking into her house every night, whatever. He breaks into her house, takes something, and tells her that the only way she can get it back is if she climbs up a 2-story house into his window. Well, she gets there, she slips, falls, and breaks her leg, and he is forced to take care of her. She meets a boy, she goes on dates. This makes Player jealous. And, you know, her mom's not in the picture, her dad's not in the picture, you know, a lot of drama. The book is not finished yet, and I'm waiting for more updates on this book, but I loved it enough that I had to put it into my favorites book. The book I want to talk to you about is written by Gracetiamate, and the title is 60 Days with Damian Black. Now, this book, I can't really describe what it reminds me of, because I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But what this book does for me is it just kind of like hits all my buttons, and it's about this female character who is for some reason given to this lady to live with while her mom goes on vacation, or something like that. And so she's asked to live with this woman. This woman ends up getting called away for work. Her son ends up coming home, and, you know, all things basically tell her stay away from him. And in reality, he's staking a claim to her, and she's living she's living with him. He's basically telling her all these rules. It's basically dominating billionaire syndrome is what I call it. And he is a billionaire. He, you know, is dominating her. He's trying to keep her safe from unknown drama and unknown threats. And the book is just really good, so I really highly suggest you guys read it. The author is Jamie4789, and the book is called My Soldier, My Hero. Now, I have to preface this with the fact that the book is full of trigger warnings, so I really recommend that if you have any triggers that have to do with physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, loss of children, don't read this book. This book is about a woman who gets away from an abusive husband. She is on the run. This older lady gets her new identity through her grandson. She moves to this place, you know, gets a job, and time jumps forward a few years, and she meets this soldier who just rubs her the wrong way. And, you know, she basically has to apologize to the guy because she was really rude to him. You know, she ends up falling in love with her. Said husband finds her. Lots of drama happens. There's a lot of different things that I'm leaving out on purpose. But the book is really good. And though some of the trigger warnings were a little hard for me to read, I read them and I loved it. I loved the book. It is such a really great book. Though it was written by somebody who did not understand military operations. So some of the things that were written in the book weren't really true to form, but I mean, it was still a good book to read, so I still recommend it. You just got the book. I have seen this advertised on lots of different game apps where you can like choose your story. This book is called The Billionaires Surrogate by Jamie1012. And I have to tell you, it's a really good book. If you read the book, you'll understand. I don't think the book is quite finished yet, actually. I think she's still uploading. But the book is still good. It's really good. It goes from, like, you know, a poor girl being asked to be a surrogate. You know, she does the whole surrogate thing, you know, loses a pregnancy, blah, blah, blah. It's a really good book. I can see why it was chosen for these games. I can see why, you know, it's really great. For those, I personally love the book. I've not played it on any of the games because I've read the book and I like the way the book is. I don't want to make decisions to change the book. So I really suggest you read the book before you play the game so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. But I really, really, really recommend The Billionaires Surrogate. The series I want to talk to you about is written by the username Authorrunknown, and it's a 5-book series. The name of the series is called the Carmichael Series, and I love this series, you guys. I've read it multiple times. It's got similar undertones for all the books, and I really think none of these books are standalones. So I really think you need to read them in order. But the first book is called Knox's Girl. Main male character is Knox, who tormented the living crap out of this girl as she grew up. She was best friends with his sister, and she, you know, she liked him but couldn't understand. She ended up hating him, and now she's in college and he's come back and now he wants to claim what's his. And so he stops her from falling into relationships. They get into relationships. He's an underground fighter, and, you know, lots of drama ensues, lots of breaking up and getting together kind of things happen, and unexpected pregnancies. Just lots of different things happen in this book. So much drama makes this book go, 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 go. But it's such a good book, and I really think you should read it. In this series is called League of Her Own, and it's about the son of the people from the first book. And it's about his journey to basically being football star and falling in love and all of this. There's lots of family drama. He has dyslexia, which I really appreciated the way she wrote the dyslexia, though she kind of gave him a lot of self-hate for that. But it was still a really good book, and I really recommend that. But he struggles with his dyslexia. He struggles with college because none of his professors want to work with him like they did in high school. He has to keep his GPA up. He meets this girl who's willing to help him. She has lots of demons in her past, and lots of things happen. They end up getting together, and more drama ensues, and it's a lot, but the book is still really good. So I really recommend you read book 2. Scar on Her Heart is about the daughter of the first book. So I think the next few stories in this series are children of the first people of the first book. But Scar on Her Heart, this girl is a twin, and her twin just got married, and she's pregnant, and she moves out, and she feels like she's not needed anymore. And she goes to this bar, gets drunk, meets this guy, sleeps with him, and basically kind of just like inserts herself into his life. And then he inserts himself into hers. She's got ex drama. He's got lots of drama. And he's a very, very dominating man. And he is what she needs. He makes her feel wanted. But there's a twist as to why they suddenly can't be together. And there's just so much drama in this book. Out of all 5 of the books in this series, Scar on My Heart is my favorite because the character changes work great, the character growth works great. I love it all, so I recommend Scar on Her Heart. Next book is called Miracle, and Miracle is about yet another of the children of the couple in the first book. He is basically rebelling. He's rebellious. He is the rebellious one. He wants to not be under the stigma of his siblings. He ends up getting a girl pregnant, and then he moves her into his house, and she struggles with, you know, accepting that. You know, he broke up with her, you know, whatever. He's struggling with becoming a new father and changing his ways and wanting to be married to the woman. The book is very short, but it's still a very good book, and I highly recommend it. So, the next book is called Thorn. Now, the relationship is not parental and child. It's sister relationship between the two characters in the first book. And this character, this book takes place at the same time as book number 3. So if you're reading through and you're reading them chronologically and you get to book 5 and you're like, wait, what's happening? It's because it's book 3. It's just happening from different characters' point of view. And their story, the main guy just found out that he had a sister and he took custody of her and he's taking care of her. She's dealing with, you know, loss of relationships, all this stuff. There's lots of family drama going on, you know, lots of secrecy, lots of secret dating. You know, she becomes attached to his sister. He doesn't want her to become attached. Things happen, but it's a really good book. I just wasn't a big fan that it happened at the same time as book 3, but was written as book 5. For the first of 2 books that are fan fictions, this one is written by MadeInWicklow, and it's called The Ultimate Games. And it is just that. It's the ultimate Hunger Games. It's, you know, lots of different games. I think it's like 3 different games happen throughout the year. The districts are split into 4 districts, and 24 people go in, and 6 people come out, I think is how it goes in each games. And then there's one big game at the end where all the survivors and winners from the first 3 games kind of come together and compete to be the ultimate Hunger Game champion. And it's written really well. It's written from multiple different characters' point of views, and no one is safe in this book. I absolutely love this book. It was really well written. The author's really good. I've read multiple books by them, but The Ultimate Games has been the one that stuck out in my head. So if you're really a big fan of the Hunger Games and you like fan fictions about that, I really suggest you read The Ultimate Games. All right, the next author is Ashley C94, and the book is called Perfect Spiral. Perfect Spiral, when you open the book, you're going to see a notification that says, you know, it sounds like it's the same book as Knox's girl from the Carmichael series. It is not. Even though the main male character's name is Knox, it's not the same. He is a big-time ball player who has a crush on this girl who pretty much doesn't know anything. He is secretly sending her gifts, and she thinks it's his mom. She goes home, and he's there, and, you know, it's just lots of angst. And I feel like I want to describe it as teenage angst, even though I think she's a college student. But, so, Perfect Spiral, football god, falls in love. So, pretty much that's what I can tell you about that. What I want to talk to you about is a Justin Bieber fan fiction. I'm not a very big Justin Bieber fan, let me just tell you that. The author is Believe with 3 E's, XOXO, and the book is called Just Friends. It starts out with the main character is obviously Justin Bieber, who's not famous for singing, and a girl who are basically just hooking up casually. And basically their deal was to hook up casually and catch no feelings. Obviously that doesn't work out. And so they end up catching feelings. And there's lots of drama, lots of self-harm triggers. So that is a trigger warning. There's some self-harm in there. There's some fighting and drinking and just all of this. So if you're really into Justin Bieber fan fictions, I really suggest you read this. But just don't read it if you have self-harm triggers, because there is a lot of self-harm in this book. The book is written by JDanielsbooks, and it's called Sweet Addiction. And let me tell you, this book caused me to have the feels. It's about a pastry chef, sweet shop owner type deal. The book starts off with her basically making a cake for her ex-fiance's wedding. And what better way to get over that while you're at your ex-fiance's wedding? Have wedding sex. Well, that's what happens in this book. So, you know, she sleeps with the guy at the wedding, and he completely just, like, breaks down. Not crying, just was like, whoa, what was that? And he left. Somebody tells her he's married, so she freaks out. She finds out where he works. She goes to confront him and finds out that it was a big misunderstanding, and now he wants to spend time with her. And he sends her cheeky little gifts, discreetly wrapped, all this stuff. They start a no strings attached relationship when really he wants a strings attached relationship. The book is all full of angst. It's all about these characters going from wedding hookup to being in love. So I really think that this book is really good, especially if you like, you know, not necessarily billionaire relationships, because neither one of them are billionaires, but I mean, it kind of reads as one. So if you really are into these books, Sweet Addiction is for you. Look, I can actually show you, because it was actually published through Amazon and I was able to purchase it. The writer's username on Wattpad is mysterious_writer, and their name is NK Pocket on the book, and this is the book, Marriage by Law. It is pretty much what it sounds like. Girl is forced to marry a guy who has to suddenly leave to do something for 6 months, and he leaves and he comes back and he treats her like he's indifferent. They butt heads, you know, their family shows up at a secret getaway and try to push them together because they want grandchildren. You know, there's lots of different antics of, well, let's trick them into thinking we're together. Let's trick them into thinking we're not together. You know, lots of stuff happens. It ends in a happily ever after. NK Pocket did a really good job on this book. Our last book is yet another fan fiction. I thought I only had 2, but there are 3. This is a Walking Dead fan fiction written by Lucky Charms 2013, and the name is That Redneck. And my favorite character of The Walking Dead was Daryl. I don't watch it much anymore, but it was Daryl. And I really like reading this book. It kind of takes place at the very beginning of the series and goes through, I mean, there's 2 books, but I've only ever read the first one. And it goes through multiple seasons. I think this one actually takes place from the farm, not even the farm, the quarry, to the farm, to the prison, to something else. And I don't really remember what comes after that in this book, but it follows along the timeline. And I really think that it's a really good book, a really good interpretation. They don't change very much. They do add in some characters, but they don't change very much about the book. So I really like that about these books, and I really highly, highly recommend these books. Guys, that is it for my Wattpad favorites reading list. If you are interested, the link for Wattpad will be down in the description below, and you can sign up and find any of these books by searching either their author names or the book titles themselves. And I hope you guys read them and let me know. Comment down below if you've read any of these books, or if you're a Wattpad user, or if you plan to be. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.